Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2024, New Year. Now it's time for the best New Year's tradition ever, ranking the movies from the previous year. Here are my top 10 favorite movies from 2023. Before we get into that, 2023, I just gotta say, it was a pretty good year for movies in my opinion. I watched around 40 movies. Also, I just gotta mention some films that you're gonna be like, why isn't this on, that I just didn't see because I just didn't want to see it or just never got around to. Like Poor Things, I know everyone loves that movie. I think I will eventually see it. It's just, I see a trailer for it or a clip and I'm like, do I really want to see that? I don't know. I know I'm like in the minority for that, but I swear I'll get to it eventually. Probably. Maybe not. Also, that Godzilla movie. Never, ever, ever enjoyed any of the Godzilla or King Kong movies. I heard this one's like amazing, but it's just not for me. Also, don't kill me. I haven't seen any of the John Wicks yet. I know. I'll get to them eventually. I'm sorry. So I know 4 was like amazing. So there you go. There's your mention of it. Alright, but now time for my top 10. Number 10, we have May, December. This is a Netflix twisted, unconventional character study / true crime drama, yet it's getting nominated at the Golden Globes for like Best Comedy, which makes absolutely no sense to me. This movie is intense and almost haunting, and that comes through the dialogue and how complex these people really are with their intentions and motives, and one of the best acted films of the year, I'd say. Particularly by Charles Melton, who was on Riverdale, and now he gave this performance. He's got serious range, obviously. He gives this painful performance, and he really makes you believe there's like this little boy stuck in like this grown man's body. If you see the film, you know what I mean. So based on his mannerisms, the way he speaks, the way he acts, he just nails this performance. And there's just so many themes that are successfully tackled in this complex and weird movie, but I really, really enjoyed it. I've seen it twice now. I think I will watch it again. It was that enjoyable. And if you haven't seen it, I'd definitely check it out. Next up, I have Creed 3. I know, you're like, Creed 3 was good, but like, why is it in your top 10? I absolutely love the Creed and Rocky movies, and they'll probably always be in my top 10 of that year if it comes out that year. I think Creed 3 is a great addition to the franchise. Michael B. Jordan continues to shine with this character and shines both on and off the screen this time around since he did direct this film. He understands the tones and the characters of this franchise while also bringing in his own unique flair, and I think it mixed perfectly. Especially with that last fight scene, it's totally like all Michael B. Jordan's own creativity going into that while also, keeping the Rocky vibes to it, and it was just perfect. I think the absence of Sylvester Stallone's Rocky really helped Adonis officially come into his own in this movie, and he has some great chemistry with Jonathan Majors' character Damien, who I really enjoyed as the villain. So yeah, I know this isn't in most people's top 10, but I actually really enjoyed this Creed movie. At first, honestly, when I first came out of the theater, I was like, it's my favorite of the Creed trilogy. Then I rewatched the Creed trilogy, and I have to say, I think I do like it better than 1, but Creed 2, it's still my favorite, because I love Drago. Now, my 8th favorite movie of the year is Air. I just gotta say, I'm a sucker for dad sports movies like Moneyball, Field of Dreams, Remember the Titans, and Air is another great addition to that. It's just a fun time with a great cast and a solid script. Viola Davis, of course, is perfect in every role she's in, and she does not disappoint in this film. Matt Damon is a standout, though, in this ensemble of masterclass comedy / drama actors, and he has some pretty great monologues in this movie. I'm a big Ben Affleck fan of him acting and directing, and I think he nails it. Both sides of the camera. He's really, really funny. I think he should get more comedic roles because this is probably the funniest I've ever seen Ben Affleck. I also love how he just captures the 80s and the 80s feel in this film. Especially that opening montage of like the 80s. I thought that was great. So it's just a great underdog crowd pleasing film, which is what I'm here for with these movies, and I loved it, and it cracked the top 10. Next up, we have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now here's a little bit of a hot take. When I first got out of the movie theater seeing this for the first time, I just didn't love it. Like, I didn't hate it. I did not like it. I didn't love it as much as everyone else. Like, I remember feeling it just didn't feel like a complete movie to me while also feeling overstuffed at the same time. But after I rewatched it, that all went away and I loved it. It's honestly probably the most balanced superhero movie I've seen in a long time. And what I mean by that is there's so many great like Spider-Man references, Spider-Man cameos, and there's no CGI faces with it too. But also the characters just have extremely compelling and paid off arcs, especially with Gwen Stacy in this movie, who I think she definitely was the best character in this one. It's visually beautiful, of course. Voice acting is incredible. I think it's in everybody's top 10. Everyone loves this movie, and for good reason. It's great. Next up, we have The Iron Claw. Holy depression, man. I mean, this is one of the saddest, most depressing movies I've ever seen. It's so tragic, and it's about a family of wrestlers. Like, it's so, like, those two, you know, to me, that before seeing that, it just wouldn't make sense. Like, a family of wrestlers and tragic, like, it doesn't add up to me. But once you see it, it's so sad. But in saying that, it also has some really great wholesome and heartfelt moments. This film is 100% a necessary watch, about toxic masculinity and the mental health of athletes and how that should be handled and addressed. I think even though this film is set in the 70s, 80s, and I think the 90s a little bit, it's very relevant to today. I think a lot of people can relate. The acting is superb by everyone. The brothers have this warm, innocent gentleness about them that these actors portray so well that when something tragic happens to them, it hurts even worse. Zac Efron, my man, I've been a fan of you since the High School Musical trilogy, which is like one of the best trilogies ever. My God, I hope you get an Oscar nom. He was absolutely incredible. He was a standout in this. Physically and emotionally, he like transformed himself to become this character, and it totally paid off. He was incredible. It's not a fun watch, this movie, but it is such a well done, well crafted movie that you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't already. Next up, we have American Fiction. This is one of the more enjoyable experiences I've had in the theater this year, and honestly in a long time. And in my opinion, I gotta say, this is probably the funniest movie of the year. Like, it actually made me laugh. Like, I'm gonna be honest, a lot of movies nowadays, they don't actually make me laugh. Like, maybe I'll like smirk or chuckle, but I won't actually like laugh where like I can't help it. This movie definitely did that. It was hilarious. The script is so witty, and it also has a great mix of satire and family drama. Like, it's not a comedy, it's a dramedy, but it carries both so well. It's like the writer of this film just wrote what he was thinking without caring about what people would think or say about it, and it just totally worked. Jeffrey Wright shines in this leading role, and I hope he gets more leading roles because he can do both comedy and drama very well. He's always been in that supporting side character role, but he was an amazing lead in this film. Also, I know a lot of people didn't enjoy that ending as much as I did. I really dig that ending, and I think it captured the whole film and what the film's trying to say very well. It has a great ensemble cast. I love the whole family dynamics with each other, and it's just overall hilarious. If you want to see a good time, good family drama, but also with some great comedy, I would check this one out. Next up, we have Still, a Michael J. Fox movie. Still is a documentary about Michael J. Fox and his career, his life, and how he deals with his Parkinson's. First of all, I've just always been a fan of Michael J. Fox's career. Back to the Future, I mean, that's one of the films that got me like really invested into movies. This doc just makes you love the guy for who he is, and like even though he struggles every day with this disease, he still has a smile and a great attitude, and he's just such a likable guy, and this documentary just captures that so well. The purpose of this documentary isn't to get you to feel bad for Michael J. Fox. It's to show you like how great of a guy he is and how great of a career he had. It does that perfectly, and also shows how he's a great family man. I just love this movie. Also, this doc brilliantly blends archival footage of Michael J. Fox and reenactment footage so well. Maybe the best I've ever seen. Next up, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Finally, a great Marvel movie. I've talked about this movie a lot. Like all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, it took risks and tried something different, and it totally worked. James Gunn just knows how to make a movie. He just knows how to make a good movie. They'll make you feel a ton of different emotions. In this movie, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll gasp, you'll smile. I think the majority of the characters are at their best in this movie. Cinematography, music, it's all great. And it just wraps up these characters so well. I think everyone really enjoys these movies, especially the Guardians movies. They're so good. They're just so well made and different, and they just make you smile. And that's what this movie did, and it's one of my favorites of the year. Now, my runner-up for my favorite film of the year is Oppenheimer. I mean, it's cinema. Christopher Nolan delivers a love letter to movies. By the end of it, it also makes you think, what is life? What really is life? It's by far the most intense film I've seen in a theater. I mean, that scene where they're testing the atomic bomb, I've never been so invested, but like on the edge of my seat. Like I was literally on the edge of my seat the whole scene. I've never been like that really in a movie theater, and my God, it was quite the experience. Cillian Murphy gave the performance of a lifetime. That Oscar is a lock. Like he better sweep every award. Robert Downey Jr. delivers one hell of a performance. This is probably the best film on this list. It's pretty much perfect, but it's not my favorite. That belongs to number 1, The Holdovers. Why didn't anybody tell me to watch this movie? I randomly just put this movie on like at midnight one night after I saw a TikTok like edit of it. I was like, this looks good. I have nothing else to watch. And oh my God, I absolutely loved every single minute of it. It is now, and I'm not joking, one of my favorite Christmas/holiday movies ever. Like I will watch this every year. Paul Giamatti, he gives probably my favorite performance of the year. Dominic Sessa, boy, does he have a bright future. He was incredible in this movie. And Divine Joy Randolph, wow, what an emotional and empowering performance she gives. But the chemistry of this unlikely trio just carries this film for me. They're so good together. Every scene where it's just the three of them eating, it's delightful. Like I could watch another 2 hours of them just hanging out in Boston, going on with their day, and I wouldn't be bored for a minute. It's such a simple movie, but it works. Like it's more than that also. It's deep within these characters. They all learn from each other. They all become better people. This movie, it just feels like a hug you desperately need. I hope that makes sense. I think it does if you've seen that movie. If you've seen the movie, it makes sense. I also just love the aesthetic of this film and the way it's edited, shot. I just loved every single minute of this film. If you haven't seen it, go watch The Holdovers. I can guarantee you won't regret it. It's my favorite film of the year. So yeah, there are my favorite movies of the year. Let me know in the comments down below your guys' favorite movie. Do you agree with my takes on some of these movies? Let me know if I missed any movies that I should watch. Should I watch Poor Things? I like the cast. It just looks very odd. But yeah, Happy New Year everyone. Hope you have a happy and healthy New Year. And I'll see you guys next time.